What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is your man, DJ Square Knot. And I'm just going to be chilling today, but I got someone that we're going to talk to. This is kind of my breaking in of the podcast world again. It's been so long since I've been there. And I got a buddy of mine. He said he wanted to talk a little bit, so I'm going to give him that opportunity. And we're going to do it up like this, y'all. So as soon as this stream gets going, we're going to get it going live. Here we go. All right. We're getting ready to do it. As soon as this Facebook does its part. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live. This is your man, DJ Square Knot. And I'm in the house with a man that I've been friends with for a little bit. And I'm breaking back in. So consider this like the test of Square Knot Live podcast. But we got my man. His name is Antonio McCloud, a.k.a. Hotep. And he'll tell you about all of that. So we're going to go ahead on and jump into this and get him started. So I want you guys to welcome my man, I'm sorry, not D, that's me. But anyway, here we go. Antonio McCloud, a.k.a. Hotep. What's up, my man?
What's going on, Tim Ski?
How you doing, bro?
I'm all right.
So, how you been, man? I'm getting ready to power this on off this music so we could go ahead on into you. So, how have you been, man?
I've been all right, man. You know, I've been trying to maintain, I've just got a piece of the American dream. You know, I finally bought my first brand new car, and I finally bought a house, and it feels good,
Good. So the American dream, you bought your house, you bought your car. Tell us a little bit more about yourself in terms of you are a veteran, and you're a Navy veteran at top of that. And then from there, you went to school, and tell us about your schooling.
Well, I got my undergrad, which my bachelor's degree in political science, and I got my master's degree in business administration with an international concentration. And the international concentration and teach you how to stay away from that insider trading,
Gotcha. So what was your focus when you were going to school to get these degrees? I'll just leave it at that. You tell me.
My focus was to try to better myself. The thing about it is that I got so good at writing papers. After I finished my master's, I wound up writing a book.
Okay. And what's the name of your book?
My book is called Ghostwriter, subtitle, You Ain't Never Had a Friend Like Me, Ghostwriter of the Machiavelli album.
Oh, Ghostwriter of the Machiavelli album. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. Well, actually, I wasn't initially appointed to help Tupac Shakur with any kind of lyrics. Actually, the powers that be came to me and asked me to help Notorious B.I.G because he was being robbed of his publishing by P. Diddy, and they was like, you need to do something, So uh, to throw off the whole thing with the publishing, I said, look, I can write some stuff for him, and that way when it come back, if Big didn't write it, then Puff can't get uh, that part as publishing. It's some loops in that. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
So 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 I decided to help Big, but based on the situation with Tupac, I didn't want to leave him out because he was wrongfully shot in Quad City Studios in New York, and I really wanted to reach out to Tupac the same way I was reaching out to Big. They was both uh, up against a lot at the time. They was up against their management, their label, the people that was around them, and based on the situation, I formulated some lyrics where and Trent's talked about this. He's all about you can get on a record and you could do a beef and it could be orchestrated. You understand what I'm saying? So in actuality, what I gave Big and Tupac to rap, I orchestrated the beef.
So let me ask you a question about that. Now, let's step back a little bit where you say that you've written for both of them. Some may say that you didn't. What do you have to say about that? And then two, why would you want to perpetuate beef?
Well, I'm gonna answer the first question first. And the thing about it is that it's people, FBI and the CIA and people in the music industry, they know without a doubt that I was a writer for both Tupac and Big. They just seen the copyright. In actuality, the feds had me sign over my copyright in 2003. And no, it was 2002 when I signed over the copyright and gave them control over what my royalties were with Pac and Big. And then they eventually gave the rest of the lyrics that was on the copyright to T.I. and 50 Cent, who used 4 different songs on each of their albums. And they made a single out of each song that they used that was mine. And they had a video for each of them, and they made a killing, So, but I don't see none of that money. The way the feds muscle me is that they came to me talking about, we don't want a Feeny to be sued by you, so this is what we're gonna do. You sign this, and you don't have to see us no more. So they use a Feeny as the pretext for what they was gonna do, and and then they asked me, when it was out of my control, do I mind if somebody else used the rest of the lyrics? And I was like, man, y'all do whatever y'all want to do. Y'all already, pretty much muscle me out of what's rightfully mine. But at the end of the day, I still got mine. It might not be the amount that I deserve, but I'm taken care of.
So let's skip on out of that, because that subject there can be one of those that can bring up a lot of doubt, bring up a lot of different things. Only you would know that full story and everything that happened to you. So with all of that, we'll just move forward with that. But what else is going on in your life? In terms of you've gotten a piece of the American dream. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 46 years old.
So you're 46 years old. Are you single or married?
Yes, I'm single.
So you're 46 years old. You're single, and you now have your own home. You purchased it yourself, and on top of that, you have your own new vehicle. You're not dependent on anybody or anything. So that's perfect in terms of a lot of guys your age. You would be in that bracket to where you're doing pretty well, just in sense of those pieces right there alone. So that's definitely a plus, and I would say it's truly a blessing. So that's really good. But what what else? I know where you're from. You said you're from Winston, right?
Winston-Salem, North
Okay.
Carolina.
So in terms of being there, are you originally from Winston, or are you from another state or whatever? Because, here in North
I
Carolina,
was
there's
I was
more.
born I was born in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Got you. Okay. So born and raised, but you have jumped around a little bit, which you've spoken to me about before. So if what else would you like to share about yourself, about some of your goals, some of your ambitions in terms of what you want to do? You at one time, of course, I put in the title Antonio McCloud, aka Hotep. So tell me about Hotep. Tell me about who you are as Hotep, and we'll go from there.
Well, after being a ghostwriter starting in 1995, by 1998, it was more of the same as far as, powerful people influencing me, So my uncle, who was a gospel singer, he asked me to get behind the mic. He asked me to get in the studio and rap. So in 1998, I started rapping in his studio. I had the opportunity to have a manager and possibly get a deal. And the name Hotep wasn't even thought about at that particular time. Like I say, when I had a manager, I was staying in Virginia Beach with him in his house, and his name was Kenny Jones, and he was shopping me around for a deal. But his thing was he wanted his own label, and he wanted a distribution deal. And at the time, I was the centerpiece for all that happening, but he didn't know how to treat me as an individual. So I broke away from the abuse, and it was like how Suge Knight treated his artists. I was like, I pretty much, oh well, he didn't treat Tupac like that, but other people that was around Death Row, that's how he treated him, and that's how my manager was treating me. So I was like, I can't deal with this, and so I broke camp summer 1998, and I came back to Winston, and I was shopping my demo around, going to different concerts. I met Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh backstage, and I got to see some of the big time artists at Summer Jam, like Busta Rhymes and other artists similar to him. I got to see Trick Daddy and Trina, and I even met Trina backstage, and I told her she had the #1 female sound in the game at that time.
So, right, real quick, with all these artists that you actually came across and were able to, I guess you were able to say a few words to them. Did you take any opportunities to share with them that you were looking to break into the industry, and did you share any of your music or anything with them?
Well, I shared my music with Slick Rick, and he was kind of paranoid that I was even approaching him. It was like I freestyled for him. After I freestyled for him, I gave him a demo, and I got back. I met him in a club later on that day, and his people in his camp was saying that the album that I gave him was hot. So he had Def Jam affiliates, executives that was with him while he was promoting his album, and that should have been the opportunity for me to be able to capitalize. But I mean, it's like today's time. I mean, they're not really searching for artists unless you just break through and be what's it. You know what I'm saying? You really got to be great for you to get a deal. You can't be mediocre. I don't necessarily think that I was mediocre, but I wasn't great. you know.
Gotcha.
So it didn't necessarily raise no eyebrows, you know, as far as, oh, we need to sign this guy. They're never pressed to sign anybody, you know. And then uh, I was talking to another guy that's been in the music industry for years, and he's like, hey, there ain't no deals on the table no more. As far as 2020 is concerned, they're not signing nobody. I mean, unless you connected some kind of way to what's going on, they're not really signing nobody like that, you know. So and they really weren't signing people like that back in 1998. You know, it's just how it is, you know. So, but
So you shopped it around. Obviously, you were doing some things where you did it. You didn't get the response that you was hoping to get, and being able to get picked up or whatever. So, have you shifted away from the hip hop scene? And is there anything else that you're doing, or are you just chilling out right now and just enjoying life?
well, I'm back ghostwriting for different rappers, and I'm trying to um, uh, promote the album by getting radio play, and I'm also shopping different artists around for a distribution deal. Now, the thing about it is, you might not be able to get with a label on a contract, but distribution companies are always looking for certain independent artists that they can just deal with and not have a middleman like the label. You know, so that's something. Well, coronavirus kind of like slowed all that stuff up, but um, that's kind of the move now for independent artists. You know, go directly to a distribution company, and then they'll pay for your copies to be pressed up and pay for promotion and marketing, and then they'll even get you on the radio, and because their interests have to be covered, you know. So if their interest, the only way their interests will be covered is if it's marketed correctly. So, and that's the only way that you can guarantee sales on unknown artists. You got to get them before the people.
So in
So,
essence, the distribution company then be kind of becomes kind of the label without having to if they're going to incur all the expenses, then of course they're going to recoup those. So you're still kind of stuck in that same thing, but they are the middleman plus the one that's actually getting your stuff out there. That's how I'm hearing this, but I don't
well,
know.
I mean,
Maybe you understand it a little different.
well, regardless of you being on a label, if you're on a label, the distributor is the major go-to in making the album pop. You know, so uh, if the distributor has a label that they're working with, uh, they're going to promote their artists so they can recoup what they have invested into that particular label. Say like, I mean, I know this may not be a for real number, but I heard that Universal had gave Cash Money $100 million advance money, and all that stuff was really recoupable. But they gave them that money as an investment to well, it was a contractual agreement, and whatever they was gonna make, they was gonna pay that back and get what was ever coming on top of that. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's an actual advance, and advance don't necessarily mean that uh you just got paid. An
No, you
advance
got to give
mean
that
that
back.
uh
You have to give that back. And
exactly.
with Cash Money, there was something said about that in terms of they did get a huge advance, but they brought in several artists and were able to recoup millions and well over what they were advanced. So they were in a good position with that, and that actually really helped them catapult because they were picking up artists left to right. Not to mention, Wayne was the baby behind it all in terms of the main artist who was really bringing in the dough for the company, which then of course they branched off to the CMB. But and the what's the other one? The one that branched off of the bigger one. But anyway, so with your projects, how many projects did you release? How many projects you obviously you did it independently because no one would pick up. How many projects did you wind up releasing?
I released 3 projects.
3 projects. And did you have any success at all on any of those projects? Were they I know you was basically doing it out of the back of your trunk, but if you had to think of, number of copies sold or anything like that, or just getting it out there, what would you estimate?
Okay, I understand where you're coming from, but the thing about it is that I really didn't get a return on my investment as far as the copies that I pressed up. But
thanks, Travis. Go ahead.
But I got notoriety within my community. I got a lot of hits on social media, and that Piff has been a big help in getting my music out there. And Reverb Nation, SoundCloud, YouTube, Vimeo. I really did the social media thing to where I don't have enough hits to where people will be interested in signing me, but I got enough hits to where people know who I am.
Gotcha.
And to be honest with you, my physical copies that I had, my CDs that I pressed up, I actually gave them out for free to get the buzz going, to get that notoriety, which nothing ever came about as far as, I even had a guy that was a record exec that he was giving them out to different artists that was in the industry and people that he know that's executives in the industry. And, nothing really came about with that, but they know who I am,
Okay.
And,
so,
and then a lot of people in the music industry know who I am from being a ghostwriter.
Okay. Well, we have quite a few people that are listening, that have come through and that are listening. Of course, my wife is listening, Mrs. Anitra Wilson. We got Eric M. Bannon. We got Janisa Brunson, Lorenzo Smith, Joe Packard, and Joe Packard's all the way in Seattle, Washington. You got Ricky Clark, Jaleesa Carr, that's my cousin, Curtis Gray. We got Sterling Pickett, SJ1, All Eyes on Me, DJ, shout out, salute. James Hunter, my cousin Geraldine Williams. We got my man DJ Silent Professor in the house, salute. DJ Information Group, word up. We got Sharon Tristan, how you doing, Sharon? Travis Gales, my man DJ Travis Gales, very popular DJ here in Raleigh, Triangle area for sure. Malcolm, DJ Yoshi in the house. Maria Sargent is in the house. Swerve Hits out of NYC, the BX, and he's here. And Travis did help me out with that. Cash Money did invest their own money as well. Andrea Tillery is here. Brandon Washington is here. So I just want to let you know you do have people listening, man. Just keep going. And now let's speed past all the music stuff, because we could talk about the music stuff forever. But because of your music, that side of the music, you were able to engage a specific situation that was happening with someone that had gotten locked up for something. Can you explain that? I'll let you explain more of it, and I won't tell the story. I'll let you tell that part.
Well, it's like this. I got influenced by former Panther members that used to teach at WSSU. And well, they still teach at WSSU, but the thing about it is, they had a petition going around in 2001 that I tried to get names for the petition to free Daryl Hunt for wrongful conviction, and so that petition went around for over about 2 years, and then they had finally had him out on bond, as to retry his case or to come back with a not guilty verdict based on DNA evidence. And this is Daryl Hunt I'm talking about, rest in peace. But and the former Panther member, Larry Little, who was the head of the Black Panthers here in Winston-Salem, he came to me and asked me to do a protest song for Daryl Hunt. So I had never really put myself all the way out there to where I could be ostracized or ridiculed for any type of work that I've done. But the thing about it is that I felt like it was the right thing to do based on the situation that was happening with him. He had been incarcerated for 19 years, and it was just I felt like it was the right thing to do a protest song that will put the heat on this city and make the mayor react in a way that will influence them to actually set him free. So the thing about it is that the song came out. It was a video done, and mind you, they did the guy from Yale who he had worked with Spike Lee on some productions. His name was Charles McClanahan. He did the music video for free, and David Rowland let me record in his studio for free because it was a protest song, So I didn't have to come out of my pocket to do any of this, basically because when I was asked to do it, when I chose to do it, I was doing the right thing. So not only was I supporting Daryl Hunt, but the camp that was around me, the engineer and the owner of the studio and the video guy, they all supported me the same way I was supporting Daryl Hunt. So I did the song, and the first place it aired was at the talent show at WSSU before the day of the trial. So they had a talent show, and everybody was there at WSSU, and they aired the video, and then they mentioned that his trial was coming up the next day, and asked maybe over 1,000 or more people to come out and support Daryl Hunt at the courthouse. So that was the first place it aired, and it got a lot of support. I mean, people, they was a carpooling, and it was vans and buses that students got on to get downtown to the courthouse, and they had overflow at the courthouse. They had, where the actual trial was going on, it was full. And then they had everything else on video in different places in the courthouse, or different courtrooms in the courthouse, where you could see what was going on in the actual courtroom. And then the overflow, it was massive. It was a lot of WSSU students supporting Daryl Hunt, and maybe people heard by word of mouth, but after seeing the protest video, I'm pretty sure that influenced a lot of people to ask about what's really going on. Like, maybe I should go support. How do I get there, or how do I get a ride there? So, so people was asking questions.
Gotcha. So this video, you have this video on YouTube, correct?
Yes, I do.
Do you recall the name? I'm quite sure you do recall the name of the video. So can you share that with us? Because I'm quite sure some of the listeners may want to go back and check that out, and of course, we're sitting at home. We're kind of still stuck in, even though we're in phase 2 of the pandemic situation. But a lot of us are still here. And I want to give a shout out to Brandon Washington, Michael Butler, Joseph McLean, Terrence Barnes, Big Ruff, DJ Big Ruff in the house. DJ Robbery, thank you guys for coming through. Travis, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Wifey, I appreciate that response as well. So what is the name of the video that they can look up on YouTube?
Okay, all you have to put in on YouTube is Daryl Hunt video, and if you spell Daryl different ways, the correct spelling is Darryl.
Okay.
And you just put in Daryl Hunt video, and it'll pop up, and you'll see something, a write-up about Antonio McCloud, and you'll see Daryl Hunt surrounded by different reporters and cameras, and just click on the video and watch it. It's got about 2,000 views so far on YouTube, which is not big numbers, but people got the message, so. But yeah, I'm very proud of being a part of that, and I did things for other people in the community. Like, it was a female boxer that I did a coming out song for. When she come out to fight, and she almost had the opportunity to fight Layla Ali, but the fight never happened because I think Layla Ali didn't want to fight her for some reason, but I don't know what that was about. But she was the top contender, so the fight should have happened. But
so
her name was Carlette Ewell.
Carlette Ewell. Okay. So now we're fast forwarding even further. We're coming into, and so this was all back in 1998 or early 2000s, correct?
That was 2003 when the Daryl Hunt thing happened, and it was 2004 when I did the song for the female boxer Carlette Ewell.
Okay, so now let's skip into 2010. Let's skip into the last decade. Your last decade of your life here that you've had from 2010 to 2020. What major has happened? Of course, we know that you bought a house, you got the car, you're 47 years old, you did all this by yourself, and you're single. You don't have to worry about any of that. Back in the day, we know that you said you used to be a model back in the day. And of course, they can check that on your Facebook. You tapped into the hip hop scene in terms of your music and doing other things, ghostwriting and all that kind of stuff. But what else about Hotep, about Antonio McCloud, is going on? And what are your plans? What do you foresee happening in the next 5 years? What goals do you want to reach? And bringing all of those that you've had in this past 10 and then looking 5 years ahead.
Well, I want to say that it's a possibility that I may become a motivational speaker one day. And when I was in college, I had a guy that worked at WSSU in the activities department, and he kept speaker. And I did a lot of speeches at WSSU and different competitions and stuff like that. And he was trying to get me to go to other colleges, and I just wasn't ready yet, But I always remember what he was pushing me to do, and my goal is to give insight to our people. for the most part, our people are very intelligent, and they know what's what. But it don't hurt for somebody to pull everybody together and give them a reminder of what needs to be done.
So let's fast forward that a little bit further to these past couple months with the pandemic. Let's go back 5 months ago, when there was possibly something out there that was getting people sick, and we didn't know the name of it back then. But then by late February, March, we started finding out what it was, and it turned out to be COVID-19, aka the coronavirus. So what has been your thoughts? How did you handle that information once that information came out? And what actions did you take? I know, of course, you obviously stayed safe, but how did it make you feel in terms of what you found out? And was there anybody that, was affected by it that you know?
Well, I like to say that North Carolina is not a hotspot for coronavirus, and we only have like maybe over 850 cases in all in the whole state. So, but however, I've been quarantined and stayed in my house most of the time, and I followed the guidelines with the curfew, and I was in before 5 o'clock whenever they had the curfew, and so I pretty much stayed safe the whole time, and I did social distancing. You go in the store, they got everything marked out the way you have to stand 6 feet apart, and so we pretty much, everybody for the most part is being safe, and that's great cooperation from a educated people who know that we need to follow these guidelines. So do I want to talk about why this is happening? No, I don't want to talk about that. But unless you want to go into it.
That's up to you. That's up to you.
Well, I mean,
Michael Cleon, I see you.
Well, I've pretty much been on the right level, on the right level of things, speaking to you. You know what I'm saying? So, honestly, I feel like coronavirus is just judgment on the earth. That's just what I feel. It's God's judgment, and a lot of people probably disagree with that.
What would make you feel that way?
Well, it's a lot of different speakers that's a representation of God that has been speaking to the people before all this took place. Not to say that I'm a prophet, but I've been trying to correct people on Facebook for a long period of time before all this happened. And, I've been writing passages, different speakers have been speaking and telling the truth, and telling the type of judgment that America going to receive. And they have really warned this government. And based on what's happening in the different cities and stuff like that, they rioting because of something that happened in Minneapolis. The different places that they're rioting in, it didn't happen there. So obviously, the people are fed up, and they know that
isn't that two different? Well, isn't that two different things though? You got the coronavirus. And then you have the situation that happened with George Floyd, rest in peace.
Okay, well, yeah, that's two different situations. Yes. But guess what though? It really ain't apple and oranges. You know why? Because uh, if God is judging mankind with this coronavirus, then uh, that means that anything that happened that's negative it will be time for people. This will be the time for them to rise up based on God's judgment. So it ain't apples and oranges. If if they chose this time to rise up in maybe 4 different cities aside from Minneapolis, then they write in tune. They write in they write in congruence with God with the judgment. You understand what I'm saying? That's just how I look at it.
Yeah. Well, I would like to keep those two separate.
Okay, well you can keep
But
them.
I
You can
would.
keep them separate. But look, when the last time other cities started jumping off based on what happened in another city? When the last time that happened?
That's usually most of the time. It's usually followed after some sort of situation, violent situation with law enforcement, and sorry to say, and the people, and mostly our people. So it's one of those things where that's why I say I want to keep those separate, because we are going to move into that for a quick second. And one of the things that I was going to ask you about that is your thoughts, but I see your thoughts are rolled into the coronavirus. And overall, it's just that what a lot of us, I have seen where they say God is angry. And yes, it's obvious that God is angry. No doubt about that. And but getting into this particular situation that happened there in Minnesota, I would say that particular situation, first of all, shouldn't have happened, number one. And the numerous reasons behind that is because no matter, I'm not a police cop, I'm not a police or cop or anything like that, but I know plenty. And I'll be the first to tell you like this. Once you are detained and you have those cuffs on your back and your hands are behind you, there should be ever no reason, unless you are doing something totally ruly, to where you have to lay down on the ground. Now, when you lay down on the ground, they still have you contained. So there's no reason for you to put all this extra pressure like this cop did on George Floyd's neck. And that lasted for nearly 9 minutes or maybe longer. I don't know the exact time, but it was long enough for him to lose his air and to lose his life. Now, that situation definitely pissed a lot of people off, if I must say. And that's where a lot of stuff began. Now, people have been putting up with this for decades. Black people have been people of color have been putting up with it for decades. Now, it just reached a boiling point, and then you have the coronavirus that also is bringing some extra heaviness to their hearts because of all the people that have been lost in these families, probably. And this is totally compiling and making this one big ball of anger. I understand what you're talking about there, but we still need to look at this as a separate deal, because as long as we try to roll them in together, and I'll say this, it helps the government with the sleight of hand situation. And they love the fact that there's all the looting and all the protesting over here, because if you notice on the news, there hasn't been a lot of, talk about the coronavirus like it's been thrown in our face constantly over the past several months. So that's kind of sitting off in the cut right now. And then the only thing that they show is people that are actually looting. They show some of the peaceful protests, but for every 1 or 2 peaceful protests they show, they'll show 5 bad situations of looting. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to, that's why I want to keep that separate, because I don't want people to also forget about the coronavirus, because that's still out there and there's requirements for that. And we need to make sure that we take heed to that. You get what I'm saying? We still need to make sure that we're safe and we're doing what we're supposed to do. Some people are still practicing social distancing while they are protesting, but we also have to remember that there is something now called social connecting, which means that you can go out here and come in contact with someone. And let's say you're in North Carolina, you do a protest and someone is visiting from South Carolina. You communicate with that person or get close enough to that person, and you pass that to that person in South Carolina. Now that person takes it to the person in South Carolina, to someone in South Carolina who has a family. And then it goes on and on and on, and it becomes this big mesh effect. So we have to be careful about that too. But getting back to the protesting and the rioting. The protesting, perfectly fine. I agree. I know people, like you said, people are upset. And we know that overall God is upset. Whatever your higher being is, we understand. We understand that he's upset, and we know that people are upset. Now, in terms of everything else, uncalled for. I'll be the first to say it. It is truly uncalled for, because I don't see, and you can disagree with me on this. As a matter of fact, let me ask you this question. The looting aspect of this thing, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm going to go back to what my father told me. And I'm talking about my real biological father. He told me that different leaders were sent out to calm down people that wanted to tear up something based on the injustice. Am I saying that what the looters are doing actually need to happen? No, that's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that I wanted to make this point because it made perfect sense to me. I mean, it probably don't relate to your question, but I wanted to say it. If they're out there expressing what they feel as injustice, then let it go on. You understand what I'm saying? That's the only way that we're going to get the attention that we deserve and say, this can't happen no more. You understand what I'm saying? When the Panthers came out with guns drawn, they was like, we ain't having it no more,
But with the Panthers now, remember, they stood ground and they put the words out there and they acted accordingly in terms of what they had to do. Now, I'm not saying that there wasn't any violence, but all I'm saying is, for example, with this looting, let me give you an example. So people are looting sneaker stores. People are looting pharmacies. People are looting auto parts stores and things like that. But I want to roll back to, let me give you the pharmacy example. Or food stores, because that's also gotten looted. And no one can tell me why this situation that we are upset about warrants the removal of a 65-inch TV from a store, number one. Number two, everything that is torn down, you need after this. So you're tearing up your community, or you got, and I won't say you're actually initiating it, because what we're finding out is that there are other groups who are coming in and breaking the windows and doing the other stuff. And what happens is we're reacting to it instead of thinking about it and saying, yo, what's up with this cat that's covered up like this? He breaking it and then he taking off. So, and because he knows that once he takes off, what's going to happen is you got an open window, people are going to start jumping through it instead of investigating who that was. Because 9 times out of 10, he probably ain't even part of us. You get what I'm saying? So, but getting to something as simple as the CVS situation. Now, you go and you loot a drugstore. You got people in your community, elderly people in your community who depend on their medication coming from this place. They depend on certain other things that help them get through their day. And what happens is now their place is looted. CVS can say, you know what? I'm not rebuilding here anymore. I'm not doing that. So now if they leave the community, you have not only done something for yourself out of not thinking, but you have just affected an entire community. Because now these individuals who need the place don't have it. So either they go without, or they have to go further, or they have to wait longer to get what they need. Sure, some stuff may be able to get mailed, but then some things they may need to pick up locally. So all I'm saying is, and I've been saying this word all week for the past couple weeks, think. There's nothing wrong with there's absolutely nothing wrong with protesting, but I just can't get down with the looting. I can't get down with any of that, because what that does is that adds fuel to the fire for anyone that is looking at us and saying, okay, they're protesting, but why should we help, or why should we even do anything? Because all they're doing is looting. So now we've given others fuel. We've given ones who the government, we've given them fuel to say they're not concerned about anything. They're just looting. They're breaking down stuff and they're doing this. This is what you get when this happens. You get what I'm saying? So then the whole point of doing this starts getting swept up under the rug. And we don't need to do that. We need to continue to protest, but do it in a way where we are able to protect ourselves, get the message across, and make sure that change happens. Now, when it comes to change, you don't need to loot. If you want to loot at the ballot box. Go to the ballot box and get rid of all those people that are in the local government, and then work your way on up to the top. That's what you do. Because if they are not for you in your community, then you need to get them out of there. You need to work with people that are going to help you, help the community, help everybody succeed in that community. Not let it be about something that's for them. It's got to be something for you. That's what's wrong with a lot of politicians today. And that is that you get a lot of politicians of all races. They'll come and they'll solicit you and do all kinds of stuff and say, oh yeah, I'm all for this. But as soon as they get in office, they forget everything. And that needs to stop. And we got a generation of younger folks who, of all races, who are fed up. So all we need to do is get them to register to vote. If they are of age to vote, they need to vote. They need to register and vote to get this stuff out. A good buddy of mine, DJ Big said, he said at their protest, they had 60,000 people in protest. Now just imagine 60,000 people going into a ballot and voting against all this crap, against all the governments and everything, and getting new people in there. And imagine if that happened all around the country, what kind of change we could have. That's what I'm saying to you in terms of what you said. That's my rebuttal to that. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I understand what you're saying. And I understand that you feel a certain way about it. But I just feel that this can be done peacefully and be done right and managed by the people. properly. Now, and the other thing, I want to put this out there because I am no way saying that all cops are bad. By no means, because I know some very good cops of all races, very good cops. But those cops are the ones who really, really need to make sure that they stand up when they see something going on. Because I know cops that have said personally to me, you know, when you go against the grain, the department kind of shuns you. And it shouldn't be that way. It should never be that way. Because when you take an oath, it's just like when I went to the military, we took an oath to protect. When you take that oath to protect and serve, it should never be one of those things of abuse and neglect. But that's what we saw. We didn't see protect and serve. We saw abuse and neglect 10, 12, whatever days ago it was. That's what we saw. You know, and Melvin Howard brings up some of these cops. Yeah, they're on a power trip. Travis says all black people march down to court and register to carry. That's all they get. That will get their attention. Also, if black people please flood these companies' social media. Yeah, Wendell says, I've said that for years. Can't get anyone to stand up, but we all need to stand up. We all need to stand up because it's just going to continue to do what it's doing, what it's doing right now. So for anybody that's looking at this, or for anybody that is listening, or for anybody that will share this, go out and tell your friends, don't loot. Don't follow. Don't fall into that category of, oh man, I hear a window break down the block. Not even where you're protesting. That's the other piece. It's not even where you're protesting most of the time. It's down the block or somewhere. And you got to ask yourself, why is it down the block? Why is it not the places right where you are? It's because somebody else could be doing it to provoke you. And once you are provoked, hey, you just go all in, and then you got other people that's following and going on in. Next thing you know, you're in the store, coming out the store with arms full. Don't do that. Don't do that. So I totally understand what you're saying, Antonio. I know I done took over this right here. But
no, that's fine. That's fine. I like to hear you talk.
But I just am really passionate about this. I have been passionate about it for a while, which is why I do my best to try to talk to young boys when I see them, you know, something as simple as walking down the street with your pants down behind your ass. You shouldn't have that, because you're marking yourself. Don't mark yourself, guys. They're looking for anything. Some of these guys that are on some of these cops that are on these power trips are looking for anything to mark you. That's what they're looking for. So please, please, please handle things a different way. Please do that. But I am asking everyone, if you haven't voted, if you haven't registered to vote, and you are of age to register, and you are of age to go and vote, register and be prepared to vote, and continue to vote, not only for the presidential elections and all that stuff, but your primaries too. Because we need to clean these different offices out. Because these people, one, they stay in there too long and they get comfortable. Number two, they're making all kinds of deals on the back end so that whatever it is they can do, they can benefit. You don't benefit. Get rid of all of that. Get them all out of there. Get new people in there. Do what it got to be. And I know I could talk about this forever. And I will bring up another podcast on this. And I will have probably a few people on for this. But we're going to move past that. So we got about another 5 minutes. So what do you see yourself doing here soon? You got anything coming up, Hotep, that we need to look for?
As soon as the Guilford College radio station open back up, 90.9, they're going to air some of my music. I think it's the middle of June when they open back up. And so be listening for Elijah, a song, and It's a Battle, another song, and be listening for Armageddon, which is another song, and be listening for Long Time Coming, which is talking about all the type of politics that we're talking about right now. So be listening for all this stuff on 90.9 Guilford College radio station on FM.
All right. All right. Well, we will definitely do that. And my brother, it's truly been a pleasure to talk to you, just to kind of really launch Square Not Live podcast. This is just me testing. I know I said I was going to start in April, but some of this stuff that's been going on has just really been on my heart and just really bugging me for the most part. And it's been really, really tough to stay silent, especially knowing that this one really hits home, as in, how George Floyd is related to the family. So it just really, really, just really does something to me to know that that we are still dealing with this in 2020. We need to. I saw a T-shirt that Jazzy Jeff had on, and before I say that, I'll say this: when a child is born, a child goes to school, walks through the door, kindergarten for the first time. If they've just been raised to be a child, when they go through the door, they're going to play with every kid there of all colors. You can see plenty of pictures where you got black and white kids, Mexican kids, Puerto Rican, Asian, whatever kids. They're all sitting there playing and having a good time. Children aren't born racist. That is taught to them. Just keep that in mind. Children are not born racist. That is taught to them. And Jazzy Jeff wore a shirt that I want to give him a shout out for. And that shirt, where it would normally say racism, it said eracism, meaning that we have to start erasing that. Eracism. And as a matter of fact, I might make me one and wear it myself. Eracism. Because we need to do that. We need to get it out of there. Get it in and just start killing it, because it's not doing anything but actually killing people and killing us and killing the human race. So just keep that in mind. Antonio, Hotep, I really appreciate you joining me, man. And this has been really great. I hope you have shared most of what you wanted to share. Of course, you're always welcome to come back to the program, and we will do more of this. And like I say, my goal is with the podcast to release one at least once a week, and we'll see how that goes. But stay tuned for, I got a Facebook page. It's called Square Not Live. Please tune into that. This is where all my podcasts will be. And I'm working right now to get them on Apple, on iTunes and Google Play, and a few other outlets as well. So all of these, you'll start seeing all of those here, hopefully with the next month or so, maybe a month or two. So, but I'm getting back into this game as well. On that note, I want to say thank you all for joining. I see a lot of people out here, and we will definitely, and yes, wifey, I will make you one. We are definitely going to talk more, and we're going to do more, and we're going to learn from each other, because I think that's a very important part of this whole situation. We need to look, listen, and learn, and that way we'll know what we need to do. So go from there. Remember, I said register to vote and be prepared to vote in November. Start cleaning house, y'all. We must do this together. This is your man, DJ Square Knot, for Square Knot Live podcast. And we're out of here, y'all. Y'all take it easy, and we're going to have a great day. I hope so. Take care. That was good, man.